I must be too ready to go for Thanksgiving. I hit the outro before the intro. Lord have mercy. Welcome everybody to another episode of Head to Head Sports. First, we'll do the show, then we'll get to the outro. I'm your host Brian Parker, along with my co-host Brandon Hargrove. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I thought something sounded a little wacky out.
I started seeing the credits roll. I said, "Oh damn, what the hell did I do?" Uh, see, now I got to sit there and think, should I have the outro button is so close to the intro button? Because I'm surprised that hasn't happened more times. But oh, man, that is crazy. How's everything going with you, sir?
Man, just tired, brother. Glad to have these next couple of days off.
Sir.
We're done with the playing season for my bands until January, so I'm gonna enjoy that time. Thank you very much for coming out. The other day, you and Mister, there you go, there you go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a great time to be had, y'all. If you didn't show up, shame on you. You missed it. But guess what? They didn't die. They're just done for this year. They'll definitely be back next year. So stay tuned. But you can also check out Kendrico on Instagram and stay up to date with their goings on as well. So anytime
Definitely.
you have another event, make sure to check it out. They perform all around Charlotte. So South Charlotte's a little too far from you. You live close to North Charlotte, Lake Norman area. They're always around, or even hey, downtown. Come make a night out of it, and check out a little bit of downtown, and then head on into one of the venues when they're there and check it out. But it was a fun time to be had. Glad we even got another one of our show followers to meet me out there too, and his mouth just dropped. He was so surprised. He was like, "Man, that's the same dude to be on the show." What?
Yeah,
I said, yeah, man. I
Mr.
said,
Lowry, appreciate you, bro.
yeah. I said, don't let the smooth things fool you. Rand get a guitar in his hand, man. It is something to behold. So, absolutely, absolutely. So, yeah, we had a good time with that, man. I sat there and shoot, I had to recover a little bit on Saturday. I was like, damn, how many drinks did I have? So, but yeah, it was a good time. The waitresses were real nice and smiling, and yeah, lot of nice things to look at while you're out there enjoying the band. I can,
Yeah, you got, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yes, sir. Anyway, oh yeah, the show. So
yeah,
thank you for tuning in. We are streaming live and direct on Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook Live, uh, and YouTube. That's right. We are on our drive for 10,000 subscribers. Please help us join the drive with that by simply going to YouTube and subscribing to the channel. Just search for it under Empower TV. Click the little bell. It'll let you know anytime that we post, go live, or add any content whatsoever. You'll be able to check out all 5 seasons of Head to Head Sports on Roku and Amazon Fire TV as well. You can watch it on demand. You can binge watch them. It was funny. Somebody that owns one of the hotels that I work with had asked me. He says, "People really go back and watch your episodes?" I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "Why?" And I'm like, "Well, they enjoy it." He says, "But the game's already happened." I said, "Yeah, but it still kind of gives them some kind of insight, I guess, into a lot of things." And what made me think about that is that I was looking at the analytics on Roku right before the show started, and the top 3 shows that have been watched are all head to head. One
yeah.
head to head and one head to head sport, 2 head to head sports. So the top 3
And
are all head to
I
head.
can see that. I understand that how you could go back and watch it after things have already happened, because then you get to see, as we're talking in the moment, if we know what the hell we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Rand, you are a segue artist because I said last week that if the Carolina Panthers don't shoot themselves in the foot, if the Carolina Panthers play the way that they're capable of playing, they could hang with the Kansas City Chiefs at least through the first 3 quarters before eventually losing the game.
Who else on this show said that they were going to cover the spread?
You did. And that was crazy because it was like, man, shoot, it's the Chiefs. They're going to blow people. Look, the Chiefs ain't blown nobody away. Have they been winning? Yes. Have they been just blowing people out like Detroit did a couple of weeks ago where they said they put up about 50-something points? No, they're not doing that. And it was even crazier than that, Rand, on Sunday when all the way till the end of the game, this was a tie game at 27.
Yeah, man.
This was crazy. Do you understand that Bryce Young, Little Mighty Mouse, and no, Grandma, I'm not going to apologize because small sample size. I got a bigger sample size that says he's a bust. He played a great game for himself. He threw at one point up until that last drive, he had thrown for more yards than Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes finished with 6 more yards because of that last drive. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I think Bryce was something like 21 out of 35, if I remember right.
Yep.
The thing is, he should have been more like 27 out of 35. That's how accurate he was. He hit a lot of receivers dead in the hands, man.
He did.
There was 2 drop touchdown passes that I saw. One by the tight end, Tommy Tremble hit him dead in the hands.
Oh yeah.
And watch that replay. Hit him.
He couldn't have put it any better in his hands unless he had walked it over there to him.
And there was a beautifully thrown deep ball to Leggett that dropped right in his chest, and it just went through his hands. So,
that was even worse.
That was even worse.
Yep.
That was the most amazing game that I've ever seen Bryce Young play. And I am on record for saying this kid is a bust. And like you were saying, one game is not going to change my opinion on that. But I do hope for Carolina Panthers' sake and my sake as a fan that I'm wrong. I hope this kid has finally got it. I hope he's at least turned it around to be a serviceable quarterback. I don't think he will ever live up to that number 1 overall draft pick because, we're talking special category at that point. And I don't think he's a special category quarterback. But damn, I do hope that he's serviceable enough for us to at least, win a playoff game. That's a lofty expectation after just watching one game, but that's just my hope.
I mean, and I'm trying not to play the role of the homer. They're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, so anything can happen. It's like, all it takes is a little bit of losing and a good bit of winning. The thing that I'm more impressed about, Ram, and you're right, I haven't seen him play as good of a game like that since he's been in the NFL.
Nope.
We've heard the lore, about all the things that he did at Alabama, and rightfully so. He deserved all those things. He did it. But this really makes me wonder, after he got Andy Dalton hurt in the car accident.
You said he did that.
It was him. You're gonna hit a man with got his whole family dog in the car, messed up his hand. But after the first 2 games of the season, Dave Canales did a very unpopular thing in a lot of ways from a lot of the outside media that says, man, you're benching your number 1 quarterback. And then, of course, Anthony Richardson gets benched, Daniel Jones gets benched, and we'll talk about that too. And you start seeing that going, well, dang, you benching first-round draft picks and early into the season and stuff like that. But now I hope that hindsight is that might have been the best thing for him.
Had to be.
It might have been the thing that says, you know what, guys, just because we draft somebody number 1 does not mean they're ready to start on day 1. That was obvious. When we see Caleb Williams come out this year and start throwing a bunch of stinkers, it was obvious that day 1 was not the play. Didn't mean that you couldn't start him halfway through the season, or if you're winning a couple of games and you're doing well and you want to roll him out there in the fourth quarter and get some meaningful downs for him in live game speed and action. All of that is well and good. But, here's my thing, too. Just because you're the number one pick, you ain't earned a damn thing as far as just being able to be the day one starter.
Thank you. And I'm so glad that you said that, because you just rolled right into a point I wanted to make. Bryce came out and he played horribly those first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason in his mind, he was expecting to go back out there for game 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so surprised when he got benched, and even a little angry about it. Well, you and I were not surprised, but he was angry about it. But that just goes to show you, with Dalton going out there and playing the way he did, that Canales was like, look, kid, you haven't earned nothing. You haven't did anything. And your play in the first 2 games is absolutely inexcusable and intolerable.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to sit you on the bench. I don't care who you are or where we drafted you or what the name on your jersey is. You're going to ride the pine until we say otherwise. And you see it work, because these last couple of games that he's been back, Bryce is now standing in the pocket.
Yep.
What was so impressive about the Kansas City game is he took a lot of hits, man.
Mm-hmm.
But he delivered the football in those hits and didn't eat them sacks.
You want to know something else too that has been different, and even in this Kansas City game, it's not a lot, but it's still a good thing to see. He ran 3 times for 20 yards.
Yeah, that too.
He averaged 6.7 yards every time he took off and ran. So sometimes, so Brian, well, what's the big deal with that? The big deal is that before those 3 runs, that's most likely could have been an interception where he would have forced something. Yeah. I saw him when he didn't have anything. Instead of just taking a bunch of stupid sacks, he either threw the ball out of harm's way, which is preferable, or if he saw a big space of green in front of him, he took what the defense gave him and slid down. A lot of times he slid, sometimes maybe a little too early, but that was fine. It was the fact that he recognized you don't have to just stand back there and wait for them to come get you.
Exactly, man. You don't. People don't realize how detrimental a sack is to a drive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to get 10 yards to get a first down, right? You throw an incomplete pass, just line up and go again unless it's third down.
Yeah.
When you get sacked, you are now losing a down and losing yardage. So when you got to get 10 yards and you get sacked and you lose 7 of those yards, it just becomes double hard for you to sustain a drive.
Yeah.
So him not eating them sacks anymore and getting rid of the ball, he did a very good job with that too. Standing in the pocket, 3 seconds, ball gone.
Getting the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, he did a really good job with that. So, what we're looking for now is what Dave Canales says on a regular basis. You got to stack those good performances one after another.
Right.
And that's how you become a pro in this league, stacking the good performances. It's not going to do Bryce any good to go out there against Tampa Bay and to wet the bed and go 9 out of 20 for 130 yards again.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's the other part. I mean, how many games did he play like a whole game and didn't even throw 400 yards?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you went well over 250. Now, once you show me you can do something, I know you can do it.
So you were swinging it toe to toe with the best quarterback in the league.
Sustaining drives, using the run to set up the pass, all kinds of things. I mean, it was a great game for them. I mean, you put up 27 points against the Chiefs and the Chiefs defense. And yes, Chris Jones was coming for you over and over. He was there.
Yep.
So you knew that. I mean, Chris Jones, Myles Garrett, them some dogs. When they're on the other side, Michael Parsons is gonna come. Those some dogs, bruh. So you gotta learn, you gotta grow, you gotta be able to get the ball out of your hands quickly because if those guys know that reliably that if we can get a 4-man rush and the quarterback is still going to be back there, man, your receivers have no chance.
Yeah, none.
If they don't have to come up and help with a rush because they're getting 4 consistently to pressure, you have nothing downfield at all.
You're falling right into their hands. You're falling right into their hands.
Yep. So I thought they played them well based off of the way that the Chiefs have been playing and the slip up that they did have. Not, I won't even call it slip up. The loss that they took to the Bills and the near loss that they almost had with the Broncos. I felt like because they had a pretty decent running game with Chuba Hubbard, and then we were going to see if Jonathan Brooks was going to get a little bit of time in there. He didn't get much. Chuba was definitely had a lot more touches than he did by 16-2 mark. But it was one of those things where if they could effectively run the ball, keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline as much as possible, you give yourself a chance to win. Now, at the end of the day, sometimes once you do that, it may come down to one play here, one play there. It could come down to coaching. This game turned into containment. Patrick Mahomes doing what he's done so many times, even in the past Super Bowl, where it looked like they were backed up and everybody's worrying about the receivers and the tight ends. They turn their back on Patrick and he scampers for 15, 20 yards untouched down the field. And it's exactly what happened. They lost containment. He got open a little bit, enough to put him in field goal range.
Yeah, and I can't be mad at that, man. That's the best team in the league. One of them anyway, besides outside of Detroit. Definitely the best team in the AFC. But you know, it's if the defense for Carolina had just showed up a little bit, they didn't make a stop against the Kansas City offense until the fourth quarter. So there were no punts by Kansas City until the fourth quarter. Had the defense had just made a few stops in that game, we could have been looking at an entirely different ball game there, man. So,
and I will say though, but I will give the defense a little bit of credit though. They sacked Mahomes 5 times.
They did. That was a league high for the Chiefs. They have not given up 5 sacks all year long.
I mean, and that was the other thing I said last week. If you can get him off his spot and make him uncomfortable, there's something to be had there. And I mean, when I'm looking at time of possession, 32 minutes for the Chiefs, 27 minutes for the Panthers, very close. You look at penalties, the one thing that they normally shoot themselves in the foot for. They had 9 for 53 yards. The Chiefs had 10 for 91. So you made them make more mistakes and more penalties and stuff. It's just that the team that had the ball last won the game. Can't be mad at that. That was one of the most competitive games that they've played, and it was a good game. I wasn't mad at all. I knew they were going to lose at the end. Once I saw that they scored and there was still like a minute and something left in the game, I've seen Mahomes do that way too many times. Where
you knew it was coming.
A minute in the game, you left it too much. But I understand why they did it. They had to get the score. Plus, they had to also get a 2-point conversion to tie it up. But doing it and seeing it work is something for them to build on. Something for them to be able to say, "Hey, look, y'all, we just played last year's Super Bowl champs, and we took them to the end of the game."
Sure did. You know, hats off to Carolina. 2 hats off to Bryce Young. Sorry about that. 2 hats off to Bryce Young. But some of you Carolina fans and some of you fans here in Carolina, no hats off to y'all. I saw too many Kansas City Chiefs at that damn stadium, and I know for a fact that all of y'all were not no lifelong Kansas City fans. Some of y'all had some jerseys up there that was so brand new they had creases in them, man. Wow. Y'all ain't no damn Chiefs fan. Get the hell up out of here.
Wow.
Damn well.
They need to stop that. That's craziness. That is crazy. Well, Rand, we go from one of your teams to your other team, your main team. Last Thursday,
Boy,
there was a blizzard in Cleveland, and more than just snow fell, the Steelers fell as well. This was a game that was inexplicably bad in that it was just crazy. It was a crazy. I couldn't understand what was going on in this game. Um, Russell was efficient, 21 to 28, 270 and a touchdown. Jameis right there with him, 18 to 27, 219, one pick, no touchdown passes. They didn't have to because they kept it on the ground. They leaned in on getting the ball down the field between the 20s. And when it came to punching it through the end zone, they handed the ball off to Nick Chubb and he rewarded them with 2 touchdowns. But the snow had probably a little bit to do with it, Ram. But what's your take from that game and how you said it the other night at Bradshaw that the Steelers just find that one game where they just sit there and they basically went to bed. They came up short in that game.
every single year, and a lot of those years, it just seems to be Cleveland, man. I don't understand. They drive me crazy in Cleveland. Even last year we lost in Cleveland. That ugly game was like 13 to 10 or something of that nature. But I've been a Steeler fan since the 70s, right? And I've seen a bunch of those games, bad weather games, in which the Browns just somehow take advantage of the weather and we end up on the losing end of the stick with an L. I've seen it over and over and over again. And a lot of times, just like the other night, we have the better record, but it doesn't seem to matter. The Browns somehow seem to take it. So my take on that game, I thought it was badly called, first of all. There were so many 4th and 1s, 3rd and 1s where we were in shotgun formation, which I can't stand. Just pound the ball, man. So many times on 4th and 1 where they would throw the ball backwards or pitch it out instead of just slamming it up there and getting the extra yard to continue to drive. A lot of the drives were killed off of that, and Browns got points off of that, got good field position off of that. So I didn't understand the play calling for one. And then for two, our punter can't do his damn job, can't put the ball downfield, shanks it off his damn foot, and gives the Browns basically field position at the 50-yard line on that last drive of the game. So you can't do that, man. The punter has one job. Do your job, please. Just kick it downfield. Give him a start at the 20. That's all we were looking for at that moment. But yeah, man, just blew that game. So it didn't make it any better that the Ravens won the other night and they picked up a game on us. So here we are. We got to go to Cincinnati now. And to me, I think this is must win. You got to move. You got to win. You got to win Sunday. If not, then you're going to lose yet more position to the Ravens and Cincinnati. So they just put themselves on a really bad spot.
They did. Yeah, now because you're right. Even though the Ravens and the Steelers have the same amount of wins, the Ravens actually have one more loss. But is it with taking them up one game is head to head? Because actually, I see the Steelers kind of still in first, though, right?
Yeah, they are. We won the head-to-head matchup against the Ravens, so that's going to put us ahead.
But you got to stay ahead just to win that division.
Thank you.
Or you're going to end up being the wild card. So the pressure doesn't come off; it stays there because you allowed them to make up some room.
Exactly my point.
Yeah, absolutely.
They beat a team that they should have. We lost to a team that we should have beat.
You lost to a 2-win team. An 8-win team lost to a 2-win team.
Yes.
Now, they should have been a 2-win for a reason, but things get a little funny when you're playing the divisional rival that you play twice a year and sometimes 3 times a year if you see them in the playoffs. So it is a little bit different when you are playing a divisional rival. But that is one of those games where you were the favorite to win the game, should have won the game. Again, this is one of those things too where I think the Steelers have to come up with more effective ways to get the ball in the end zone and not settle for field goals too much. It reminds me of the old saying in the NBA: "You live by the three, you die by the three." I think if you live by the field goal, you can sometimes die by that field goal
So right,
because
right.
because you got when you get that close in the red zone and stuff like that, you got to be able to punch that ball in and not
Exactly, man. And that's what was driving me crazy in the whole first half. I don't think we scored a touchdown in the first half.
No,
If
oh,
I'm mistaken.
no.
Just all
By halftime, it was 10-3.
right. So, you can't do that against the Browns. You got to establish your dominance. You're the more physical team. You're the better team. So go out there when you get into those red zone situations. You got to damn score touchdowns, man.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get any easier against Cincinnati because you go out there and kick field goals against Cincinnati. You got a quarterback on the other team that's going to be throwing for the end zone, and he's pretty daggone good at it.
He is very good at that. Yes.
Yeah, you better.
And the guy on the other end catching it is just ridiculously
ridiculous.
Good. He's just stupid good at it.
Yeah.
So, yes, and that's Ren, I think that's really the issue is you gotta be able to make a team. And I said this kind of jokingly last week. Don't let them come out in the third quarter thinking they got a chance.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
Hang around long enough, and one thing go wrong on your side that could turn good for them, they end up on the winning side. So at least put some doubt in their heads at halftime that when they come out, they like, man, hopefully if we get these first two drives to look real good, then maybe. No. When y'all come out, even though y'all got the ball because you sat there and deferred to the second half, 3 and out.
Exactly. Smash them.
Smash them.
Leave them with no hope.
Don't let them sustain that first drive at the halftime and go, okay, we got something good going here.
Nope.
Y'all went in for 15 minutes. You come back out and get nothing. That's what you got to do to them.
Right.
You got to be able to do that. So I saw that game and I was like, oh my gosh, they let them hang around long enough and they gave them enough time to start believing that they had a chance. And then that belief manifests itself. I saw that in another Sunday game with the damn Texans and the Titans, where, man, I don't know what it is. Is it a second-year slump for C.J. Stroud? I mean, he doesn't seem to be himself, but this was also a down game for Joe Mixon, where he only had 22 rushing yards. Let the Titans, the more inferior team, a 7-win team, lost to a 2-win team. There's a theme here.
That was as crazy as the Pittsburgh game.
And it kept going back and forth. And ain't no way in the world Will Levis is sitting there owning them, but he was doing it. Even Tony Pollard shook loose 24 for $119. I was like, damn, what's going on in this game?
I could not believe that Levis was doing the things that he was doing. That was like another Bryce Young situation.
Yes.
He played the game of his career.
I'm gonna have to call last Sunday Wake Up Sunday, because a lot of guys that played on Sunday that you ain't seen a whole lot from sat there and like they woke up out their coma and just started throwing the ball all around the field. I'm sitting there like, damn, what did y'all smoke something Saturday night together?
Yeah, where has this been at?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to find out if Will Levis and Bryce Young been over there at the Gentlemen's Club on Tyvola.
Yeah, I think they got together, bro. I think they got together.
But again, the crazy thing, the same thing, even though I still believe that the Texans will win their division by default, I've seen the Texans play lately where this was not totally unexpected. Kind of like the Chiefs, where they've kind of let teams hang around and they just kind of acted like, okay, at any point we'll just turn this on. Okay, I'll get it out. I'll get it out to my tight end. I'll get it out to Nico. I'll get it out to Tank. Uncle Joe will come through for me and bust through and pick up, 8-9 yards on the carry and stuff like that. And when it doesn't happen, and then the other team starts getting that confidence and that momentum, then they end up with the victory. The same thing almost happened to the Detroit Lions. I'm not the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the next game. Happened to the Minnesota Vikings. They almost lost the game to the Chicago Bears. It took overtime for them to beat the Bears. Caleb Williams again woke up, threw for 340 yards and 2 touchdowns.
It's unbelievable.
He woke up. He woke the hell up.
Man, he got together with Levis and Young.
They all had a little powwow. Even DJ Moore got there too. 7 receptions for 106 yards. What? And this is with Caleb Williams being the leading rusher with 33 yards. They were doing this was an air game. Your quarterback at 33 yards was the leading rusher. He threw for 340, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Sam Darnold, comeback player of the century, had 22 and 34 for 330 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks, which is just unbelievable for him. And then Aaron Jones, another player, Jerry Jones, did not go after. 22 rushes for 106 yards. So the Vikings had the more balanced game, but it didn't matter. The Bears were playing out of their minds through the air. And this was a team, again, this was a previous 3-win team going against a 9-win team.
This is insane, man. It's just when I look at the schedule tomorrow's games. You're right. You're right.
Oh God.
On paper, they all look like they're blowouts, but we kind of know better. We just kind of know better.
Look. And there's going to be some people out there, Rand, that are going to be these conspiracy theorists that say that the games are rigged.
Oh my goodness!
They're going to say, "Hey, how could so many losing teams sit there and jump up on all these winning teams?"
Right.
Good question. But I don't think you can coordinate 100 and something guys on the field conspiring to win and lose a game and stuff like that. These guys really do badly and stuff. What this goes to show you, though, in my opinion, is regardless of your record, anybody can be got on any day. If you bring your worst game or not your best game, a lot of times you can be got. And that's what that proves.
It is the NFL, and I keep telling people who got these conspiracy theories, craps, floating around, tinfoil hats, and all that nonsense. Look, man, every player, just about 90% of them, were drafted.
Right.
60 to 70% of them drafted highly. So it's all athletes. On any given Sunday, it can happen. The odds are that it won't, but it's not impossible.
Exactly. You know, and that's what it comes down to. But it is funny that a lot of top tier teams saw their demise. But you know what? The other thing that can be said too is this: when you're a top tier team, you're gonna have that one game where you just didn't bring it, and and a lot of times when you're that top tier team, the other team that hadn't played that well all year, hey, the expectations are very low. They can play loose because nobody expected them to win to begin with.
Yep. And it was just like you were saying a couple of minutes ago in that Tennessee Titan and the Houston Texans game. Mm-hmm. If you just caught a few minutes of the highlights, you didn't even have to watch the whole game. Just go back and watch the highlights. You could tell that Houston was kind of asleep through that whole game. And they had the attitude of, Tennessee has the lead or they're close up on us, but we're going to turn it on. We're going to turn it on in the fourth and, we're going to step on the gas and take this thing. Exactly. And then it was just like the longer they allowed Tennessee to hang around in that game, it's like, oh, snap. They got the lead and it's late.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They really trying to win.
Yeah. They're trying to win this thing. And they are going to win this thing if we're going to do something.
You know what? Because of their record, more likely than not, they're going to do something stupid, and we'll just take advantage of it and wrap it up in the game. They'll throw an untimely pick. Our defense will get the ball, a sudden change or something like that. We'll get a scoop and score, a sack fumble, and we'll recover it. All those kind of things are going to happen. We just waiting for it. We know the other shoe is going to drop. And it's fourth quarter, and they're going, damn, it's 6 minutes ago. The shoe ain't dropped yet.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's
I
why
think they were just as surprised as everybody else that they were losing.
That's why I was so mad at the Steelers, man. You know, they got the lead in the fourth quarter and they in the end zone doing snow angels. And I'm thinking, look, the game is not over, man.
Right. They knew something.
Yeah.
They knew, you know what? They probably said, you know what? We don't have to go into every game and after game talking about Mr. Masagi. We can play loose and stuff like that. That really helps. And they love Jameis. So, you know, they know, and Jameis laid it out on one of them plays when he went airborne and stuff like that. They love to see because you know what? They know good and well hell Deshaun Watson wouldn't have done the same damn thing.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Done that.
And as painful as that game was for me, and as mad as it made me, props off to Jameis, man. I love that. I love that for him.
Jameis played like he got the guaranteed 5-year full contract and stuff like that. He plays like that, not the guy that actually has the contract like that.
Exactly right.
Bro, you could not play another down. They got to pay you dollar for dollar. Jameis get hurt. There's an injury settlement that he gets. Like, but he's the one playing like he got all the money in the bank for it. And it's the other way around. So yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Anthony, welcome, my man. Anthony says, I don't know what's wrong with CJ Stroud and the Texans. They're not the same from the first 4 games. No, they haven't. I would even say they really haven't been the same all year. You know, winning covers a lot of woes, as the saying goes. And but even through some of those wins that they had, there were some current concerns. Now, I'm not going to say it was the concerns when Joe Mixon gave me almost 50 points in my fantasy that week. But outside of that, you could even outside of the running game, which I trust their running game more. I think Joe Mixon had a hiccup of a game. But when you look at the passing game, regardless if the receivers have been hurt, CJ has looked like he's been a little bit more hesitant to get the ball out of his hands. He's holding on to the ball a little too long. He's taking way too many sacks. And a lot of those sacks isn't necessarily because of the press. It's because he's holding the ball too long.
Exactly right. He has not had the benefit of having all 3 healthy receivers like he did last year. He just got back Nico Collins. And, you know, anytime that you lose a receiver and then you bring them back, you got to reestablish that timing because that's not just automatically there like it is from week to week. So I think he's been struggling pretty bad with the loss of Collins and then even Tank Dell being out a little bit too.
And what happened after the first 4 games? He lost Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, and Diggs is lost for the season. Exactly right. Yeah.
So not so coincidental, Anthony. CJ really is a gunslinger. And him having Diggs, Dale, and Collins out there at the same time is plus he has Schultz too, right? At tight end, isn't it?
Yeah, Schultz at tight end, yeah.
So when you got those guys that you just sling it around to and get the ball out of your hands quick, it makes you look really, really good. When you have to kind of hold it now, pack the ball, looking for somebody going through your reads and stuff like that. Now, but when you could go instantly to your hot reads and things like that, or your second read, you look a lot better. Now when you're having to look. And then I'm gonna be honest too. CJ get a little greedy sometimes. Sometimes he like to take the bigger play instead of selling for the one that's in front of him. A lot of the young guys do that. I see them where they kind of look off the right read because they want to try to throw it into that tighter coverage down the field because it'll pad their stats a little bit more if they complete that pass. So I see that a lot of times. Yeah, that hero ball.
Yeah, those are the plays that make the highlights. You know, they're trying to make some highlights.
Oh yeah,
them check downs don't make the highlights.
That receiver do that little toe tap catch out right outside and then go out of bounds and all of that. All of those kind of things. Yeah, you know, they're thinking about their brand and their followers and all that kind of stuff. So hey, me sitting there throwing check downs to my running back ain't the sexiest thing in the world, even if sometimes that's your best play.
Right.
Yeah, so I think a lot of that is in there, and I'm not saying that he's by any means trying to be selfish or anything when he's doing that. But a lot of times your eyes get a little big, and you want to sit there and try to make something happen that's not really there, or it would take some kind of Herculean effort for it to come to pass. And sometimes winning football is just, trusting the process, doing what you're supposed to do. Wait for those things to develop. When you start, you check a couple of times and make them hesitate. Then it does open up that long ball. Yeah, you got some heavy hitters out there that can go get it, no
Yeah.
doubt. But don't sit there and leave a bunch of yards on the field because you're trying to make that one play. It's just kind of same analogy in basketball. How we always said you can't win the game with one 3-pointer. If you down by 30, you can't 3-point your way back into the game. You're gonna have to do a lot more than that to catch back up. And I think a lot of times these players think that they can sit there and make up a lot by just one long pass, and that's supposed to fix everything, and it doesn't.
Nah, Russell Wilson is a master of that too. He'll dink you, make you go to sleep, and then all of a sudden he hit you over the top, and you're like, "Where'd that come from?"
With the moon balls that he throws,
yeah,
hang up in the air seemingly forever. Looks like it should be picked off more times than it ever is, and you just going, "Damn, that ball been up there for a minute." God, no, and he just makes it just it reminds me of the thing you posted on Facebook, which was I hope that enlightens some people about how planes curve when they do their flight patterns, because the straightest point from A to B from a airplane standpoint is not a straight line, but there's a curve that they take.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of Russell Wilson's balls, because straight, he just sits there and tries to figure out that curve, boop, right into your basket. And you're going, damn. I think he made it hit the scoreboard, and it came back down and fell right in your arms. He is the master at that. I'm just like, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, we had some other teams get back on track. The Dolphins held their own against the Patriots. Patriots came in. Drake May had been playing pretty good. Still had a pretty decent game. Again, as a rookie, 22 of 37, 222, a touchdown and a pick. But the Dolphins look a whole lot different with their guy, Tua Tagovailoa, back behind center again, 29 of 43, 17, 4 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah, man, they are balling like the Dolphins of last year, and it's kind of got me thinking. I know we're not here yet as far as picking these games coming up, but
yeah,
it makes the Green Bay game really interesting. It really does.
Oh yeah, a whole lot more interesting than it would have been a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely. Now, if I sit there and said to you that Tua's receiver had 8 receptions for 144 yards and a touchdown, you'd automatically think I was talking about Tyreek Hill.
Nope.
It was Mr. Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, Mr. Waddle.
He woke up. He been kind of quiet lately, but he woke up. Anthony says Drake May is good. He just needs a good wide receiver.
He needs a lot around him, man. He needs a better running game. He needs a better offensive line. Mm-hmm. And you're right. He definitely needs more receivers because he has none of them.
He does. He needs some receivers. They had normally Ramondre Stevenson is normally running for them, but it was actually Gibson who ended up running for more yards in this game. 6 rushes for 31. Stevenson only had 8 for 13, so not really getting a lot out of him. Drake May actually outran Ramondre 2-1. He had 26 yards rushing. So Drake is a good option to be able to scramble and get out of situations where if he doesn't see anything down the field, he knows how to turn negative yardage into some positive yards, getting down the field and getting out of bounds. So he does have that going for him. But a lot of times that's because his receivers aren't getting a lot of separation. He did throw to 10 different receivers in that game. 8 of them caught a pass, 2 of them didn't. But so he is basically trying to use all the tools in his toolbox. He just don't have. He got some dull tools in his toolbox.
You ain't lying.
And that's evidenced by the fact that his top catching receiver outside of Demario Douglas, who had 5 receptions, the second receiver that also had 5 receptions was Hunter Henry, his tight end. And when you're having to get your tight end more involved in the passing game, that's telling me that you're having trouble finding your receivers downfield.
Yeah, there is no speed, no talent at that wide receiver position for New England. They're going to have to draft better and start over with that one.
But I think they're good with the quarterback, so and their defense is going to be there. So if they can address running back and receiver, and maybe some tackles,
yeah, they could come up. They could come up. You know, if this continues though with Drake May's play, even if he does well all the way to the end of the season, and what I'm saying, I'm going to tweet Merrill Hodge myself, because Merrill Hodge was one of the main ones talking about Drake May was one of the worst prospects that he has ever graded, and he did not think he would do anything in the league. So yeah, Merrill, I got your number. I'm coming for you.
Robbie Jenkins, up guys? What's going on, brother?
What's up, Robbie?
Anthony said, "What about New England drafting Travis Hunter?"
What about anybody drafting Travis Hunter? You are going to have yourself an absolute baller and an NFL star.
Where would you play him?
I would play him as a defensive back, but use him as a gimmick, kind of like Deion Sanders was used with the Cowboys. You know, Deion, he was so good back then, he shut down pretty much any corner. I mean, shut down any wide receiver he was on. But at the same time, he also got out there and played a little bit of wide receiver, and he was burning guys over the top, and he had a few touchdowns. So that's how I would use him.
You would use him two-way in the NFL?
I wouldn't use him as much two-way, because like with Colorado, he's basically playing like every down.
Yeah,
I'm saying
unsustainable.
Unsustainable in the pros. So yeah, he would be defensive back for me primarily, but he would have a few package plays. Kind of like what's his name with New Orleans? The guy that's kind of all over Taysom. Yeah,
Taysom Hill. Yeah. Okay. But, yeah, that would be interesting. He would definitely be electrifying. Every time he touched the ball, people would just hold their breaths.
Absolutely.
or if somebody was crazy enough to throw the ball in his direction, almost like having Sauce Gardner Part 2 out there for the Patriots, that would be wicked. So yeah, that would be interesting if they could. But they would have to do. I don't know what the draft order is going to be, Anthony. But that would be interesting if they could find their way. But they would have to get probably top 5 to be able to get Travis Hunter.
Yeah, definitely that. He's not falling past 5.
No. Yeah. I mean, the only way he would fall past 5 is if the Panthers had that pick and they looked at his Wonderlic score.
Right.
And go, he too dumb. But look at the tape. You see his score? And I don't even know if he has a bad Wonderlic. I'm just saying, if he did, the Panthers would definitely go, "Oh no, we can't take him. We gotta, take some guy to North Dakota State or something." Oh my God. Anthony said, "Nah, he's better as a wide receiver."
I don't know about that, man. I think he's a better defensive back, but we'll see where he's played.
Yeah, it'll depend. And they'll get a lot of info about that out of the combine too if he participates. To be really able to see where his measurables are and how that really shakes out for NFL and stuff like that to make sure he's a good size for any of those positions. And then Anthony also says Giants might be number 1. I doubt it. You got a couple of other teams that are fighting for the bottom, whether it's the Raiders.
There you go, Raiders, man.
Yeah, right there. I think the Raiders,
they're terrible.
The Raiders are 2-9, ain't going nowhere. The Brownies are still there. The Jaguars are definitely there. The Titans not far behind. If you go into the NFC, is not nearly as bad. The Giants are the worst team in the NFC. Period. No other team has 2 wins, including the Panthers.
Yeah,
Um, and the
you might be right. You might be all over it with the Raiders though, because you're talking about they were already bad with Garner Minshew as their best weapon, pretty much, and they just lost him, so they're about to start Aiden O'Connell for the rest of the season.
Yep.
They might not win another game all year.
As a matter of fact, the Jaguars, Raiders, and Giants are all 3 of them are 2-9 right now.
Yeah, yeah, and out of those 3 teams, I see the Raiders finish last.
Same. So yeah, it's and because their division is so hard. They
Yeah,
have to play the Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs twice. That's 6 games that they're going to lose automatically.
with Aiden O'Connell,
So
just not happening.
yeah, so at least with the Jaguars, yeah, they might catch the Colts or the Titans sleeping, and that could happen. And I get it with the Giants too. Do I really see them beating the Commanders or the Cowboys? Probably not. But I ain't gonna say they couldn't beat the Cowboys on a good day. I ain't gonna say they couldn't get the Commanders on a good day because the Commanders are starting to come back to the ground a little bit, Anthony.
They sure are.
We had just, and I think it was you, Anthony, that had asked last week as we move into that game about whether or not Bo Nix would give Jaden Daniels a run for his money for Rookie of the Year. And we were pretty much saying it would be Jaden Daniels to lose. And then comes Sunday. Sunday comes and I'm going, and the first thing I'm thinking watching Jaden Daniels play that game is what Anthony had asked about.
I thought about it too. It's like somebody threw. I thought about your kryptonite chain too analogy. It's like somebody threw kryptonite on the dude, man. It's like, what the hell? What am I watching?
Now, if you sit there and you just look at his stat line, 25 of 38, 275, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, you'd be like, oh, he had a pretty good throwing game. A lot of those were chunk plays, and this was the craziest game I have ever seen of recent memory, where the Cowboys were going to win this game. At the end of 3 quarters, it was 10-9 Cowboys. And then in the 4th quarter, 24-17 is what they put up. This was the craziest game. It had everything. It had Kevontae Turpin almost muffing a punt, picks it up at the 1 or the 2, runs into coverage, does a Saquon Barkley-ish spin move, and finds himself gone along the edge. One of the craziest punt returns for a touchdown I think I've ever seen. Absolutely.
And then in last second fashion, Daniels does it again. The long bomb to McLaurin. And you think, oh, snap, they're about to win the game or at least tie it up. But once again, we got a kicker that can't do his damn job.
Oh, my God. You had one job, Siebert, and you've been doing it.
Goodness, man.
Boy, you talking about choking? God dang. Well, they could pull a whole person out of him. He chokes so bad. Jesus. That was like a regular kick. It wasn't like they had a penalty and they had to back up, but it was botched. But by the time the guy got it, he got it straightened before he kicked it. He just shanked it.
Yep.
He shanked it. It was like, oh my God. Oh my, they could have won that game. Well, the crazy part was after Turpin did what he did, you were like, okay, well, Cowboys got this now. And Jaden Daniels don't have a lot of time. I think he only had 1 timeout or something like that. Backed up on their side of the field, deep. All you had to do, Cowboys, is damn near play prevent. Keep everything in front of you. How did you let Terry McLaurin get into the second level and then bust around the side?
Crazy, man. But he had the whole stadium going wild, thinking, "Oh, we've seen it again, another comeback." Nope,
Exactly.
nope.
And the thing is, they shouldn't even let it get that close. Cooper Rush looked the best that he's looked all year. Very comfortable. Wasn't getting pressured enough. 24, 32, 247, 2 touchdowns. This is with CeeDee Lamb getting less than 70 yards receiving. So he was definitely passing the ball and spreading it out to a lot of different people.
Once again, another quarterback just coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, again.
What the hell, man?
Again. Wake up Sunday.
Wake up Sunday.
I'm going to tag that before somebody take it from me. I'm going to tag it. He woke up too.
Yeah.
Him, Will Levis, Bryce Young, who the hell else I brought up the sat there and woke the hell up? You like, damn. Yeah, a lot of these guys just woke up. I blame the defense. Cowboys had 2 rookies starting on the line, and our defense was bad. Oh, no doubt. I absolutely blame your defense too. I also blame your offense because Jaden Daniels was not getting the ball out of his hands, not getting to receivers. Other than that pass to McLaren, you guys are not getting him the ball because you line him up on the same side of the field every single game. Yes, he had 5 receptions for 102 yards, but 86 of those came off of one play.
Yeah.
I mean, so I can't even count that. But Noah Brown, 6 receptions, 71 yards. Zach Ertz, again, tight end, your second leading receiver. I'm sorry, he had the most receptions. Your tight end, telling me that your receivers either aren't getting separation or he can't find them down the field. Having a hard time locating guys. So that was concerning. Matter of fact, out of the 2 touchdowns that he had, the tight end did have one of them. Terry McLaurin, of course, had the other one at the end of the game.
Yeah, man. And this is what I'm so afraid of with the Steelers, right? It's the same situation. A couple of weeks ago, the Commanders were flying high, sitting on top of the NFC East, or at least challenging for it. I don't remember. But they were 7-2. Now they've lost 3 straight games. And those losing streaks are hard to break once you get them rolling.
Right. Because it's like they say, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
You know, it's not one thing why you lost. It's a combination of things. And you're trying to make all of those things go back in and work together like they had done previously. So a lot of times.
Exactly why I say this game in Cincinnati for the Steelers is must win. You got to win it, man.
Big time. When you start roll down the hill, you gain a lot of steam that way, good or bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Robbie said, Anthony said, I say Giants because they could be trying to win with Drew Lock, but they benched him as a backup. Look, man, we're going to talk about them Giants because I'm going to tell you how the Giants were so ready to get rid of Daniel Jones, they put him on the scout team as a damn safety.
That's terrible, man. That's just terrible.
So anyway, but we're going to get to the Giants in a second because that's hilarious. Hilariously bad. But Robbie also said, I stated at the start of the season that Bo Nix was going to be a sleeper quarterback. You did. And I thought you were smoking. Because then after I saw Bo Nix play the first 2 games, I said, who is this? I said, you know what? Sean Payton, you getting exactly what you deserve the way you did Russell. We're going to bring that up too because it has a lot to do with what the Giants did to Daniel Jones. And let's see what else. Washington might miss the playoffs. I'm calling it now. If they continue to do what they're doing, yeah, because they will be basically ejecting themselves out of it. They've got 7 wins, though, Anthony. I know you're a Commanders fan. They got 7 wins. But when you got a division like the NFC West, where the Seahawks and Cardinals are both at 6-5, you got the Rams 1 game behind them, and surprisingly, and as well as the 49ers, the Rams and the 49ers are both at 5-6.
Exactly. He's right. They're putting themselves in a little bit of trouble.
They are. Saying about how letting the Ravens kind of creep back in to snatch the division away from you. They're kind of letting them hang around because you're not creating any distance. So they keep winning and you keep losing. Eventually, you're gonna meet each other in the
You'll
middle.
find yourself on the outside. Like a couple of weeks ago, we were looking at the NFC East as putting in two teams, the Commanders and the Eagles. And then the NFC West would be that division that might be only one team walks in there. And the
Correct.
more the Commanders keep on losing, they're going to tip that bar to the other side where it's just Philadelphia coming out of the East. And then you got all these teams sitting around 500 in the West. And you also can't forget about the North.
The North has 3 teams that has 8 wins or more.
Exactly. Yep. So only one team is coming out of the South, probably.
The division winner has to, yeah.
Yeah, but the Commanders are putting themselves in a little bit of hot water by losing 3 straight. They better get back on that winning track because, like I said, it's very hard to break a losing streak.
That's correct. Because you remember, there's only 3 wild card teams. So
That's
regardless
right.
who wins the North, the Vikings and the Packers are potentially there. That's 2. There's only one other one right now as it stands. It is the Commanders. But like we said, the Cardinals and the Rams. The Cardinals are at 6-5. The Seahawks are at 6-5. So if they both end up with, say, 10, 11 wins, one of them takes the division, the other one takes the wild card, and the Commanders are doing a whole lot of woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Anthony, you're not wrong, but it's really going to. I'm gonna say like what Rand is saying, but you played 12 games now. You got 5 left. They're all must win now.
Yeah.
Can you afford to drop one? Yes, but don't do it early because then it puts pressure on you to finish where you got to win outright to have a chance. You don't want to have to come into week 17 with your destiny in your hands. or even worse, you could win, and if another team wins or ties or whatever, or those crazy scenarios that we've seen, Rand, you could still end up out on the outside looking in.
Yeah, Robbie just commented, if the playoffs started today, Washington 7-5 is at number 7, the very last spot.
Mm-hmm.
And Arizona is 8 at 6-5. So yeah, just like I was saying, they are losing momentum big time. They better pick it back up.
At this point, I don't know who's our running back this weekend. Yeah, Eck took a heck of a hit. He's a tough little dude too. I love Austin Eckler. But yeah, he definitely took a hit. Is he in concussion protocol, Anthony?
I don't know, but I know Robinson is dealing with an ankle. He's been really beat up this year too.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's going to be running back 1 this weekend.
I know. His name is Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. Who do they play this weekend? Matter of fact, I don't even know.
Washington plays the Cow. No, I'm sorry. I'm not looking at the wrong schedule. Washington plays. Where the hell are they on the? Oh, the Titans. So if they play like they should, they could win. But after me seeing the Titans and Tony Pollard get loose and Will Levis get loose, here's the thing I think is going to be interesting with the Commanders. If they get down, can they play from behind? That's going to be the thing to see. If Will Levis gets hot early and you're staring at a 10-0 deficit, can you dig yourself out because you need touchdowns? You can't settle for field goals. Can they play from behind? That part, when you have a young team, that's one of the crazy things too. The other one is sometimes when you get up on the team and you got all that momentum going, it's kind of hard to slow you down. But when you go a couple of 3 and outs, the other team gets short of field position and stuff like that because you're kicking balls deep. You don't kick it as deep as he needs to, or the return is a little bit better than you wanted it to be. Can you play from behind? Anthony says, "Nah, Washington gonna make Will Levis a meme again." Okay,
better hope not. Better hope not, man. Because if they don't go into, I don't know where the game is played at, but if they don't, it's in DC.
Yeah.
So this is must win. This is must win.
Big time.
They cannot allow no Tennessee Titans to come into their house and then lose this game and find themselves at 7-6 with all these other teams like Arizona dancing around them.
And ran, because you got 5 games left. You got the Titans, the Saints, the Eagles, the Falcons, and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure. Your easiest one left is the one that's in front of you.
Got to get it.
You got to get it. And then you got to negotiate your way through the last 4. But your easiest one is your next one.
At home. You got to get this, man.
And that's the other thing. You got 5 left. 3 are at home, 2 on the road. You got to get this one.
Yeah.
Or you really you gonna put yourself in a position where you're not gonna be in control of your own destiny. It's gonna take a lot of other stuff to happen for you to even have a chance, and you don't want to get in that position where you're sitting there watching scores on that final Sunday of the season.
Yeah. At one time we were 7-2, and now we're 7-7. You don't want to be talking that, man.
You don't want to be that team. You don't want to be that team. Absolutely. So, Commanders, y'all gotta get your stuff together. Now let's go on into these Giants here, because the Giants, we knew that they had last week they had benched Daniel Jones, and they were going to start Danny DeVito. And I know his name is Tommy. Y'all don't at me. I just love calling him Danny DeVito. But they got DeVito in to start. Now he's hurt, and ran the effort in that game was so bad that after the game, players were talking about the explicatives. They were soft. People ain't playing. They gave up. And as I heard some commentary, and I totally agree with it, is of course they gave up. You told them 10 games into the season that the season was over because you not only benched the quarterback, you signed another quarterback to be the third quarterback. Then you put his ass on the scout team as a safety.
That's just the most messed up thing I've ever heard of, to be honest, man. You got a starting quarterback. Let's start it right there. A starting quarterback.
Number 6 pick.
A 6 pick. We ain't talking about no backup. We ain't talking about no scrub. The 6 pick overall, who you just paid.
You just paid.
You're gonna put him on the scout team as a safety out of position just to humiliate him. I mean, come on, man. If I was Daniel Jones, I would have went straight to the office after that practice and asked for my release too, man.
And he did.
Yeah, he did.
He went to them and he said, "Look, just release
me. Yeah.
I can clear waivers and sign with somebody else. Just release me and let's." You know, he came out of practice. He gave a great little speech thanking everybody. He knew he wasn't gonna play in New York again. And then the very next day, they had released him, and I thought that they had just did it. But then I read back where he had actually went to them and requested that they just go ahead and release him, and they did go ahead and do that. But that was a crappy way of backing into that release, by almost making him just say, "Please let me go. I don't want to sit there and do like they did down in Atlanta, where they sat there and put Ritter in and got rid of what's his name? It'll come to me. And then he just ended up leaving the team before the season. One of the reasons that the Giants had benched him wasn't just because of his poor quarterback play, but it was because of his injury history, man. He had a really high injury clause. And for y'all don't understand, a lot of times these teams insure themselves by having injury clauses with players. And it reminded me of the same issue that the Broncos found themselves in last year, where they were winning games with Russell Wilson, but they knew that if Russell got hurt and could not pass his physical in March, they would have to pay him $37 million. And they said, you know what? That's a little too steep for us. We're going to sit your ass down, and we're going to start Drew Lock for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And the Giants said, you know what? We are not going to the playoffs. That is obvious, because we'd have to win the division to do that, and that's not happening. So what we're going to do is, instead of we're already going to take an L for the season. That way, we don't want to double dip and take another L. by having a guy that can't pass the physical because he's hurt, and we're gonna have to pay him out over $20 million. So they did it for that reason. But when you do that to your team, you're showing them the white flag and telling them, hey, I don't believe that we can sit there and play any more meaningful football. So then you get the effort that you get on Sunday where the Buccaneers sat there and handled them 30-7. And it was even worse than that. That's another one where the final score wasn't indicative of the game. The Buccaneers controlled them and manhandled them from start to finish.
Yeah. So here's a question for you, man, or anybody else that's out there listening. Which New York team is the biggest dumpster fire right now? The Jets or the Giants?
I'm going to say, me personally,
yeah,
I'm going to say the Jets. And I'm going to tell you why. The main reason that I would say the Jets is because we expect the Giants to be bad at this point. How many people expected the Jets to win the division?
I did.
The division.
I did.
The only division that I've seen them do is cut stuff in half and thirds. That's the only division that I've seen them do. They couldn't. Hell, they lost to the Colts. Tell me one team that the Jets have beaten that you were surprised that they beat. And you only got 3 chances. Which of the 3 teams that they beat that you go, oh man, that's a hell of a win?
So you're saying that the Giants going into next year look better and they're sitting in a better situation than the Jets are?
I think they're both crazy. And somebody else had brought this up too. They remind me of the Knicks when Dolan was doing all his stupid stuff before he finally let somebody else come in. And once he finally let somebody else come in and make decisions, now you see what the Knicks can be. They're kind of back to being in that upper echelon as far as NBA teams that you want to mention. Not a meme, not a laughing stock. But the Giants have been historically bad. Dave Gettleman almost need incense and sage all over that place. And think about it. What's the common denominator? They play in the same damn stadium.
Mm-hmm.
They need some sage up in there to get Dave Gettleman's stench out that building. It's something about the way he left that place. They ain't been right since. Ever since they benched Eli and got rid of Odell, they ain't been right since. They ain't been right. So me, that's where I'm going with. But Robbie says the same thing. Robbie says the Jets. Let me see what else was up on here too. Is this the first time a quarterback asked to be released and was released 24 hours later? Oh, absolutely not.
Nah, I remember Kerry Collins back in the day went to Panthers. Head coach said he couldn't do it anymore, and he was released pretty much immediately. And you have to do that because it's a position of leadership. You can't have your leader out there wanting to quit, but then making them still play. I mean,
exactly.
You can't do that, man.
Exactly, and it's a morale thing too. Hey, cut your ties, move on, do what you got to do, and stuff like that. But no, absolutely not. Ain't the Giants still paying Daniel Jones? As a matter of fact, to finish that story, they are. But Daniel Jones did clear waivers, and he's signing with the Minnesota Vikings onto the practice squad, and at some point will probably be elevated to the 53-man active roster. He's only going to make an additional $347,000 that's going to be on the hook for the Vikings to pay. So good insurance policy for the Vikings by far.
Good landing spot for him, man. I'm happy for him, to be honest. I mean, we all make jokes about Daniel Jones. It wasn't his fault he was picked as high as he was, but he was that. So they came with expectations. Mm-hmm. But the kid went through absolute hell in New York, from the memes to the press to his own head coach not giving his back. So yeah, I'm glad he's getting a fresh start somewhere.
It's a good start for him too, Ram, because as I was reading, the Vikings only signed quarterback through next year is the rookie that they drafted that got hurt early in the year that's been on IR all year. So
Yeah.
even Arnold, who you may or may not have because of the way he's playing, he may command a huge free agent price tag that you're not going to be able to afford to pay him, and you're going to maybe have to say goodbye to Sam Darnold, and Daniel Jones could be sitting right there for you to kind of step in as an heir apparent.
Yeah, and as you say that scenario, I think that scenario would definitely happen.
Yeah.
I don't see Steve Darnold back in uniform next year. He's gonna have other options.
He is,
Yep.
and rightfully so. Rightfully
Yep.
so. Now he could take a hometown discount and say, hey, you know what? I like this team. You guys believed in me. I got the weapons I need to be successful. For once, I really feel like I'm coming to my own, and sometimes that can win out over that payday. So we'll see.
Yep.
Robbie also said Aaron ain't getting it done. LOL. No, Aaron is not getting it done.
No LOL necessary. Hell no, he ain't getting it done.
Anthony says, I thought Jones would be signing with the Ravens. It's the perfect play style he plays. Yeah, lean heavily on your running game if the Ravens will consistently do that. I think Derrick Henry keeps showing them when you put the ball in my hands, we can do some great things, as he just did the other day. But when they kind of veer away from that and start trying to pass it a lot, that's when they find themselves in trouble like they did last year in the playoffs. But I still think Minnesota was a good move for him, even get him away from that whole Northeast area and get him more in the Midwest. I think that's a nice little spot for him and stuff like that. I think they believe in him, and him and Sam Darnold have some similar playing styles too, other than the fact that Jones is a little bit more mobile. No, I'm sorry, not a little bit, a lot more mobile. That's just an extra wrinkle in his game, but he has some decent running backs where he wouldn't have to do that as much, just to scramble when there's nothing downfield to get loose with. So, but again, very good move for Daniel Jones. Giants just look even more like doo-doo because of the way they handle Saquon. They picked Jones over Saquon, it looks like, and now they end up just getting rid of Jones altogether. So you did all of that, and now you end up with absolutely nothing.
That's why it's hard for me to kind of pick which New York team is the bigger dumpster fire, because the Giants have made moves that just leave them absolutely with nothing in their hands. But the Jets have also done the same thing too.
But the Jets went all in. They said we were a quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl. When is the last time we said the Giants were one play, even if they kept Saquon, Daniel Jones, Odell Beckham, if they had them all playing together at the same damn time, well, we have said, yep, this look like a Super Bowl bound team. But oh no, them JET nasty ass Jets got us believing some bull jive that they was one quarterback away after seeing Zach Wilson play like. And then the crazy thing, going back in with the Giants, Malik Neighbors, the rookie, goes, well, you see, obviously it wasn't the quarterback.
Brian Dable,
which was hilarious. Say Nico top Dable.
Yep.
So, and then you go to the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers. The one thing Aaron Rodgers has been really good at, more than being a quarterback lately, is blaming other people. He real good at that. So he can point out to all these receivers and this and this and this and this and this. And, somewhere Robert Saleh is laughing his ass off. They tried to blame it on the head coach. Then you got rid of the general manager.
Yeah. Just outright.
Still there. And then they talking about, Aaron Rodgers talking about wanting to play in 2025. His preference would be with the Jets, but if not, somewhere else. Why? So you can get them fired too?
And you see the Jets had absolute silence to that statement. They haven't said nothing.
They said Jack. They said,
yeah. You're gonna find himself like Mac Brown with the UNC Tar Heels.
Exactly. Aaron probably be like, "Hey y'all want to start talking about next year contract? Yeah. We'll holler at you. We'll get back to you.
We will get back to you."
Anthony says, Yeah, Randall. Sam Darnold will not be on the Vikings. JJ will be back starting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we will see. I think it's still iffy. Robbie says Aaron has turned into the LeBron James.
Agreed. Yep.
All he got to do is sit there and be like, hey, Garrett, and do his little walk back and stuff. And if he does that, that'd be hilarious. That's my
Yeah,
LeBron.
he always putting on that fake crown. He's actually putting on that GM hat.
Oh my gosh. Aaron Rodgers is hilarious. Aaron, you done made all the money you can make, man. You have a life after playing football. Somebody will put you in their broadcast booth. I know they will because you are smug as hell. And
Yep.
again, you like talking about what other people do wrong. What's the perfect spot? You can sit in the booth and criticize everybody else playing the position. Even though you only got one Super Bowl. But anyway,
Just go home. Just go home.
just go home, bro. Sit
Yep.
out here. You know, you're going to have plenty of people coming to you wanting to pay you a ridiculous amount of money to hear what you think on Sundays. I already know.
Yeah.
Where do you think Rodgers will be playing next year?
I
Madden at
don't
home.
think he's going to be playing anywhere next year.
He's going to be playing Madden at home.
I think
And I can see the little narcissist playing himself as quarterback.
I think he's going to get that Cam Newton treatment. You know, just never retire, but the league says you're going to retire.
I went by the Jets building the other day. See any pictures of himself? I went to Lambeau. Didn't see any pictures. I wonder if they're trying to erase me. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, if you're wondering, you already know. So, anyway.
I could see him doing his own podcast just like Cam, too. I could see it completely.
Or him and Pat McAfee doing something together since they already had that little thing together and stuff like that.
Absolutely, 100%.
Rand, we coming down to the end. I had a couple of games I wanted to get to. We didn't have time to get to it. Briefly, the Packers held their own against the 49ers at Lambeau. The 49ers are just depleted. They're just not themselves, and they lost that game pretty handedly, 38-10. In that game, it wasn't even a big thing. Jordan Love only went 13 of 23 for 163 and 2 touchdowns. So not a whole lot of offense out of it, but they were just still scoring on the ground. Josh Jacobs was doing most of the damage. He had 3 touchdowns on the ground. So it was a real ground and pound game for Josh Jacobs. Is how they got them that many points. McCaffrey, 11 carries, 31 yards. Just not a lot of holes for him to run through. And Brandon Allen ended up starting for Brock Purdy and just did not provide them a whole lot of offense.
No Purdy, no Bosa, no Trent Williams. I knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, once I heard all those outs, I was like, that game is over before it starts.
Yes.
Packers don't self-implode. We had the Sunday night game between the Rams and the Eagles. Rand, Saquon got something to prove.
That's a bad boy.
This mofo put up 255 yards on the ground.
That's
not total, because he had 300 total, because he received some yards too. Saquon had 255 on the ground. And as I say that, he ain't the only one that ran the ball. Jalen ran for 40. Gainwell ran for 22. So as a team, they put up 314 yards on the ground.
Now, I knew the Rams had trouble stopping the run, but damn. You thought their stats looked bad stopping the run before. They look terrible now.
I'm just thinking about the Cowboys who can't stop the run and run the ball either. I can only imagine what Saquon going to do to them.
Goodness.
What?
I'm here for it, though.
Bro, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. That's all I can really say about that game. Saquon just ran all over the Rams. Man, Brad, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but that was just ridiculous. Saquon had 270+ yard touchdown runs walk through. Absolutely. Just when he gets to that second level, and I saw it, the first one, when he got that cut back, he was gone.
Gone.
He was gone. Nobody touched him.
Gone.
Once he said that, Saquon's vision is what does it. Yes, and he gave credit to the line, rightfully so. They created some holes for him. But Saquon has that ability to change direction so quickly. Once he sees something close and he does those cutbacks, he gone.
Yeah.
The
It was
whole
like
is moved to that one side. Once he
Mhm.
cuts back, you ain't catching them tree trunk legs. He gone.
It was like the Rams had 9 players on the defense.
Yeah, because they got sucked in, and once he cut, there was nobody left.
Nope.
There was all he had to do was just bang his head on the goalpost. That's all he had left. I'm just like, bruh, that is the craziest damn game. So yeah, so Saquon is still running. There's talks about him being the MVP. They're gonna give it to a quarterback, but if they would sit there and get past this fetish with quarterbacks having to win the MVP, he would be the runaway MVP right now between him and Derrick Henry.
Yeah. 2 beasts. Just doing it in different ways.
I mean, I don't see why a quarterback should get it this year because Saquon is on pace to break Eric Dickerson's record.
I'm telling you, man, if that happens, I mean, come on. Come on.
But like it's been said, running back shouldn't have to break a damn record like that to be the MVP. McCaffrey should have won it last year.
Yeah, exactly.
So this whole thing with quarterbacks, I don't know how y'all feel about quarterbacks having to be the MVP. I don't think that's the case, especially if you're a team that runs more than you pass. Then yes, your running back is the most valuable player.
Yeah.
Tell me the difference between the Eagles in week 13 of last year and week 13 of this year. They got Saquon. They had Devontae Smith last year. They had Dallas Goedert last year. They had AJ Brown last year. They had Jalen Hurts last year. Now they don't have Kelsey at center, but they got all them other dudes. You know the one that's different? 26. That's the reason they started losing games. They're on a winning streak, not a losing streak. At this time of last year, they were actually on a losing streak. So keep that in mind. Lastly, Rand, we got the Ravens and the Chargers. Harbaugh Bowl 3. Ravens pulled that game out 30-23, but again, the final score isn't indicative of how that game went. The Ravens started out slow and then caught lightning in the second quarter and didn't look back in that game. Derrick Henry, again, 24 carries for $140. I'm sorry. And Anthony says CMC should have won it last year, Cup the year before. Yep. Agreed.
Yep.
Cup had the damn triple crown.
Yeah, man. I don't know what these dudes is looking at.
Damn. And Robbie says, if you're going by stats, look at what Joe Burrow is doing. But him on a losing team, he won't be considered. That's true, too. If you're going to go with quarterback, I would say a lot of them games that Joe Cool done put up, yeah, should throw him in there, but they're going to give it to Josh Allen. Watch.
Yeah.
They tired of giving it to Lamar. They're going to give it to J.A. I already know it. You already know it. Everybody knows.
Yep.
So, when we do our picks at the end of the year, we can already skip in an MVP. We already know. They already done made the trophy, I heard. They already etched in everything since Josh Allen on it. So, we already know. Any big games this week, Rand, that you're going to be looking at?
Don't bother me on Sunday. I'll be watching Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, 1 o'clock. And I'll return the channel 4 o'clock, hopefully in a good mood to watch the Panthers and the Bucks.
Man, we got our 3 Thanksgiving Day games tomorrow. We got the Bears going into Detroit to face the Lions. I got the Lions in this game, but hell, who knows anymore?
Same.
We got the Giants going to Dallas to play the Cowboys. The Cowboys got a win, but it was away from home where they won, but at home they haven't. So I'm going to actually give it to the Giants.
You got the Giants? I hope you're right.
Only because the Cowboys if they win, it'll be their first win all the way to week 13, their first win at home.
And that is hilarious.
That is hilarious. I'm loving every bit of it. Dolphins go see the Packers. Hey.
Also,
I'm calling the upset. I got the Dolphins.
Look, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
They look more complete right now. Chiefs get a visit from the Raiders. Of course, that's going to be the Chiefs. You got the Texans going to the Jaguars. I got the Texans getting some act right against the Jags. I just don't see the Jags having anything to really stop the Texans, even on a bad day. I think Joe Mixon goes over 160 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Miami, LOL, Robbie says. I agree with you, Robbie. Colts go visit the Patriots. I'm giving it to Drake May. I know Anthony Richardson has been playing a lot better ball since he got benched. Something about getting benched that makes you reevaluate your damn life.
Woke him up.
Woke him up. I'm telling you, it's Wake Up Sunday. But I think Drake May is going to put together a better game and is going to actually hold home field in that. Chargers are coming to the Falcons. I'm praying for the Chargers to beat the Falcons for selfish reasons. But I also think the Chargers need this game more than the Falcons do. So I'm going Chargers all the way on that game.
I got the Chargers. Too much defense for Atlanta's offense.
I agree. Absolutely. You got the Seahawks coming all the way over from Washington to beat the Jets' ass. That's going to happen on Sunday. It's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is going to throw 3 picks in that game. Watch.
I will never choose the Jets, not one more time this whole year.
Never. The Titans visit the Commanders. That's a toss-up. I'm going Titans. Upset.
I know the Washington Commanders had better win this game, like we were talking about earlier.
I just got a feeling that they're going to give it up somehow. Dan Quinn going to have a lot of questions to answer as far as his coaching, him and Cliff Kingsbury on that sideline. You got the Steelers at the Bengals going to Cincinnati. I ain't got to ask you who you going for.
Going for Pittsburgh, calling Cincinnati.
Wow. I agree with you. Unfortunately,
man, I hate to say it.
But you know what? That is a hard thing being a homer to say, but I applaud you for saying it. Because and hopefully they prove us wrong. But yeah, that's hard. And then I don't know what the weather's going to be like too. But, they both northern teams, so they should be okay.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals go to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Minnesota, they play the Vikings. So I'm thinking the Vikings should win this game. But the Cardinals have been playing well lately. If you can't stop that little dude in the back, you're gonna have a long day. I'm still going Minnesota though.
Same.
Rams play the Saints. Rams need that game badly. I think they're going to take it against the Saints. I think Derek Carr is going to throw at least a pick in that game and give it away.
I agree with you on that one too.
Buccaneers at the Panthers.
Upset.
It's in Carolina, but I'm going with the Panthers.
I'm going with the Panthers.
You got Bryce. Man, this game should be flexed out to the Sunday game because the Sunday game is the 49ers and the Bills. More on that in a second. The Eagles and the Ravens is a 4:00 game on Sunday.
Man.
Right?
Wow, why is that not in prime time?
Bro. And then on Monday, you got the Browns and the Broncos.
Come on.
Tell me the Eagles and Ravens should either be the Sunday night game or the Monday night game.
I'm telling you.
Hey, Goodell, flex that bitch.
Wake up.
Wake up. Eagles and they're in Baltimore. I'm going Eagles.
I'm going Eagles too.
I got to. And of course, 49ers play the Bills on Sunday night. I don't see the 49ers, just to me, I can't. Until I see better, I got to go with the Bills on that one.
Bills, man, I hate to call it, but I mean, I'm with you. The 49ers have just been beat the hell up.
Beat up. The Broncos and the Browns are the Monday night game. I bet you Bo Nix ain't going to let that happen to what happened to the Steelers. Bo Nix going to find Cortland, Javante, and all of them boys, and they're going to get it done. I bet the Broncos beat the Browns on Monday Night Football.
Broncos are going to beat the Browns. I believe it's in Denver.
It is in Denver, too.
Yeah, Cleveland, they ain't ready for that elevation, man.
No, not at all. Last couple of comments. Panthers for the upset. Robbie Jenkins. Yes, sir. Anthony says Henry versus Barkley will be the final push for offensive player of the year. Now, see, that's their thing. They'll give them that when they probably should get both. Yeah, but what they'll say is because we won't give you the MVP, we'll give you the offensive player of the year. I agree. He'll get OPY in a minute.
But God dang, somebody's slipping not putting that game in prime time. Good God.
Right.
Whew.
Come on. And now it's only Wednesday. They could flex it by tomorrow. But I mean, y'all done seen this on the schedule for I don't know how long. I don't know why you waiting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Y'all knew this game was coming, and it ain't like both of them just got good lately. Just saying. Flex it. I mean, if they don't flex it, then I don't know what to say. I mean, even Vegas would tell you to flex this game. And I know y'all listen to Vegas. Not to fix a game, but you making money out of Vegas doing what they tell you to do. Flex this game. For me too. I need to flex it for my betting too. So, I got some parlays that would be really good. So anyway, that's a lot of games. We went through a whole lot of stuff. We thank y'all for tuning in. We hope y'all have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Eat. Have a bunch of football games going on tomorrow, and even the Kansas City game on Black Friday. It's the second time that they're doing that, but a lot to be seen. We'll see if this is going to be Wake Up Sunday Part 2 from some quarterbacks that we hadn't mentioned in quite a while doing anything of any significance. We'll see if that happens, Rand. I'm starting to kind of believe we may see one or two. All right, but we will let y'all go. We'll see y'all again next week. Thanks, Rand. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. We'll see y'all again. Peace out. And I'm going to run the outro this time.